Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
All right, so I think we can start.
Yes, please.
Okay, so for today's discussion, I want us to look at software usage. So at the end of the discussion, we should be able to define productivity software. Then we look at the various productivity software that we have. So desktop publishing, presentation software. Then we'll compare a spreadsheet to database software, because we go to some organizations, they use spreadsheet to manage their data. So we'll compare the advantage and the disadvantages of using spreadsheet to manage your data as compared to using database to manage your data. Then, as we said, computers are now being used in almost every facet of our human activity. So in entertainment also, they use software there. So we'll look at the productivity software that are used in the entertainment and the media space. So we look at the media editing software that we have. Then we'll look at some tools that we can use for maintaining our computer systems. So the keywords for us to know for today is a database. We'll look at a field, formula, frame, functions, layout, algorithms, batch sector, both, clip, cluster, computer aided, design software. So record sector, software suite, spyware, virus, hot if analysis, lossless compression, lossy compression, loss cluster, primary key, and query. So these are the keywords that we are supposed to know for today. So when we started, I told you that a computer system is just an electronic box. So without the software that is running it, your computer is being considered as an electronic idiot, as some people describe it. So it is the software that gives life to the computer system. Then this software, we realized that there were two types of the software we have. There is system software, which the system uses to manage its own internal resources, that it also uses to manage the hardwares and then other peripherals that are connected to the computer system. And then there's a one that we, the human beings, used. And those ones that we use is known as the application software. So this application software enhances our productivity at our various workplaces. So depending on the kind of work that you are doing, there is a productive or a productivity software or application that is best suited for you. So the commonest one that we all know is the word processing, spreadsheet, database, desktop, publishing, and the presentation software. So I think sometime I told you that there are some software, or now we have a software called I think software as a user, or yeah, I just forgot the technical term for it, but the name is SaaS, SaaS software. You use it as when you need, so you don't need to go and then pay for every component of that particular software suite that you need. So if I need only the Word and then the spreadsheet, then I pay for only that aspect. And as we said, computers are now being used in almost every facet of our life. So entertainment also, there is a software that you can use that are designed for playing music, videos, and then editing of our videos. Now with the Google Photos, you just have to take your phone, snap, and then you realize that it will be uploaded and stored on the Google Drive for you. Then media editing software is also designed for creating graphics and animations. So now when there's a war between Iran and US, you could see that some people in that entertainment or the media space just crafted some graphics and then put the head of these world leaders or the various presidents, and then they were trying to pass the Strait of Hormuz, and then you've all seen all those ones. So all those things are being done using the media editing software. So usually related applications are often packaged together and then we refer to it as a software suite. So some of the popular software suites that we have are the Microsoft Office suite. So with the Microsoft Office, there are different applications that are bundled together. Excel, Word, PowerPoint, publishing, and the rest. So all these are packed together into one package that we are referring to as the Microsoft suite. Then we have the Google document, which is now becoming very popular now. People who work on the go, because you are moving from one place to another. You don't want to be carrying your PCs along. All that you need is to have access to internet, and then you'll be able to access this Google document. So it's also an example of a software suite because it has a lot. We have the spreadsheet, we have the Excel presentation, everything. Then we have the Apple iWork, Apache Open Office, Adobe's Creative Suite, and then CorelDRAW Graphics Suite. All these are software suites. So meaning that they contain individual applications that are being bundled together. So when we take the word processing software, usually they are used for creating our Word documents. So this is the most commonest application that everybody uses. The Word, Apple Pages, Google Document, Corel Word Perfect. All these are examples of word processing software, and they are just used to produce document. So with this word processing document, you can enter, reorganize your text, correct errors, insert graphics, and then format the document you have to produce a final document that you need. So you realize that as you move along the course, or even some of your courses, they've given you an assignment, and those assignments that have been given to you, you need to use the word processing document to type everything. And then when you type, there are some formatting that you need to do to it. So what I intend doing is that I think next 2 weeks, we are going to have face-to-face class. And then in that face-to-face discussion, I will try as much as possible to just do some of the practical, maybe in Word. The most important one that I think will be useful to you that will help you in the course of your course or your course of your study. So we'll look at some of them next 2 weeks, the practical aspect of the Word document. So if you look at it, this is how the word processing document or software look like. So if you open it, the first thing that you see here is the word. And then if you don't name your document by default, it will be named document 1. So when you name it, then the title of your document will be here. So over here, you could see that we named the document Green Computing. So the title will appear at the title bar. Then next to it is our controls, which usually we are going to be using for formatting our work. So for editing and formatting. So sometimes I normally see students, even master students, when they send their project work to you, and then you are looking through it, you could see that the work is not properly formatted, and it is not good if you work or you type your document or any document that you are working with. You need to properly format the work. So to format it, these are the controls that can help you to do the formatting. So next week we'll look briefly at some of these practical things and then see how you can do formatting. I know most of you know how to do it, but for the sake of those who don't know, we'll quickly look at it. Then this is the document area, the white background, that is known as the document area. So that is where you type everything that you want. So in Word, by default, you have text wrap. So the text wrap means that when you are writing, you start writing from left and then it goes to your right. So when you are writing and then it's about getting to the last end, then it needs to move to the next line. So the next line that it moves to is known as the text wrap. Okay. Okay. In a diabetes. Okay. So that's it. And then we have the the zoom. So you could see that the zoom here, sometimes because people have different sight issues, you could realize that you want to make the text appear a little bit bigger than as it is normally done. By normal, it will be zoomed at 100%. So if you want it to appear a little bigger than that, then you can increase the zoom to 120, 150, and the rest. Then, as we said, a feature is called word wrap. So the word wrap just lets you keep on writing. So once you write and then you get to the last end of the line, then it has to move to the next document or the next line. So sometimes you can be writing, and then if you want it to go to the next margin or the next line, you press the enter key or you hit the enter key. One good thing about the word processing software is that it comes with a spelling checker that you can use. So you see that words that are new to the computer system are being underlined in a zigzag format, or words that you wrongly typed will be in that red format, or it will be underlined for you, but the underline will be in a zigzag red. So the spelling checker software or the feature aspect of the word processing document helps you to be able to correct some of these errors before you finally print or send your document. So it is very, very, very important that once you write, you try as much as possible to use the spelling checker to be able to check the words that they are not properly spelled or words that are not in the dictionary of the computer system. So sometimes you realize that because we are not the originators of the software, when we type in our names, for example, our surname, the system underlines it. If you don't want the system to underline it, you can right click and then say add to dictionary. So once you add that word to the dictionary, it will be seen of the dictionary, therefore it will not be flagged for you. Then, as I said, formatting. Once you type the word, you need to format it. Formatting simply refers to the appearance and then arrangement of the element on the page. Sometimes you finish your work and then the lecturer will tell you that format it 12 times New Roman. That's the font size should be 12 point, and then the font should be Times New Roman. It should be double space. So doing all these basic things to your work is what we refer to as formatting. Sometimes you could see that you are writing an assignment. So you write assignment and then you do these things that you are doing to the appearance of your text is what we refer to as formatting. So basic formatting features just allow you to make your headers larger than the other text. You insert a bulleted list, apply color to the text, and then other elements. And then you can also change the margins of your pages. So when you do that, then we refer to it as formatting your work. So as I said, it's very, very important that you format your work after any assignment or any document that you are working on. Using the word processing software, once you typed, you need to do formatting. If you don't do formatting, then it will be considered that you lack the basic computing skills. Then we have some collaboration features. So word processing provides some features that make it easier for us to collaborate. So an example is that people can review a Microsoft document and insert personalized comment or mark their changes. So sometimes you could see that you send your work to your supervisor, and then your supervisor would like to make some corrections into your Word document. So you can see add comment and etc. So those ones are the collaboration features that your Word helps you to bring, or the word processing software helps you to do. So we finish with one of the application software that is part of the Office suite. So the next one is the desktop publishing software. So this desktop publishing mostly is used for those who work with text and graphics, or they call them graphic designers. So mostly they work with this desktop publishing software. If you look at it, it is just similar to the word processing, but just that it has some sophisticated features that you can have. So with the desktop publishing software, you can arrange text and graphics on a page and then make them high quality And mostly these are the software that are used in producing documents such as our brochures. When you go to funeral, you see the brochures that they have, the magazine, the newspapers, and even the books that we sometimes read. They use the desktop publishing software to be able to do it. So there are different types of the desktop publishing softwares that you have. Some popular ones are the Adobe InDesign, Quad Express, and the Microsoft Publisher. So if you have installed Office, then the Microsoft Office, then it will come with the publisher. So usually publishers are what you can use to create maybe your gift cards, your, how do we call it? The one that a business card. So you can use all these things to create your business card. So is the desktop publishing software, in this case, an example, which is the Microsoft Publisher that most people use to create their business card. So or if we meet face to face and we have time, we can look at some of these things and then quickly see how we can make use of some of this basic desktop publishing software. So if you look at it, this is how the desktop publishing software looks like. So if you launch it, for example, Publisher, this is what you have. So it's just similar to our word processing document that we look at. So in this case, you can see that a person is designing. So he put some texts here and then put a graphics here. So these ones where the columns are or where the four square things are known as the frames. So with the DTD, that's the desktop publishing software, you can use the frames, which are just a movable rectangular area on the desk where you can enter text or graphics. So depending on what you are doing, you might use some basic frames or some frames for whatever things you want to do. Yeah, Abraham.
Yes, sir. So the interface looks like Photoshop or
Yes, Photoshop. Yeah, it's also an example of desktop publishing software.
so Photoshop and Lightroom, like which one would you recommend?
Come again?
Photoshop and Lightroom or CorelDRAW.
Yeah, yes. So all are the desktop publishing. So if you are interested in it, and then you just have to go more into it. But
Okay.
this is just a basic introduction to it. So for this course or this particular topic, we are not going so deep into it. And then, we can take just 1 week or just a day or 3 hours to look at all the software suites that are within the Microsoft suite. You can look at all of them. So this is just to introduce you. And then if you are interested in it, there are some short courses that are being organized by, I think, the CPD. Then you can go in for them. I think some are 1 month, some are 3 months. And then you can use it to boost your IT skills.
Okay. Thank you.
So we have the feature also. So the text feature just lets you thread or link frames together. So they contain the text. So for example, you could see that if you look at the graphic, they put the president there and then some text flows around it. Or you can have the president and then you see that some do it in such a way that the image that you are inserting will be at the background. So you can use it. So it has the text that can allow you to put in your text, and then the graphics, the graphic features helps you to insert your graphics. So once you insert the graphics, you can use it, or you can do the copying, editing, and everything that you want to do with it. So these are the graphic features. So just know that the graphic features of the desktop publishing software help you to be able to handle graphics. So if you insert an image that is too big, then that feature will help you to crop it nicely using the create and then editing features, the graphic features that can help you to be able to properly cropped and then position your image very well. Then now we want to look at presentation software. It's also package within the Office suite. So presentation software is what we are currently to present to. So now you could say that when you are using the presentation software, normally when you are using presentation, or some people just refer to it as PPT, with this one, you don't need to bring in everything that you want to talk about. Usually that is the mistake that most students do. If they are going to do presentation and the presentation is going to be on, let's say, a subject matter, you could see that student will be saying what is matter, and then they'll define matter and put everything there. So at the end of the day, you pack your PPT or your PowerPoint with a lot of information. When you do it that way, your readers, which are your audience, will not pay too much attention to whatever you are saying, because they want to read, and then they know that if they don't read quickly, you might move to the next slide. So it is advisable that when you are using a presentation software, just organize your things around point. So some people suggest bullet the point, and then this one is what you are going to put on your PowerPoint. So presentation software, there are a lot of them. Popular one that we all know is the Microsoft PowerPoint. We have iWork Keynote, LibreOffice Impress. Prezi is also used now. I think sometimes some people use the Prezi to organize and then do their presentation. So the presentation software provides you with a layout, and this layout includes a slide content that you can insert your text and then also insert graphics. So sometimes you are doing presentation and then you want to compare two tables. So the presentation software gives you that opportunity to be able to compare two tables. So when you create a new slide, there's a template that you can pick from. If you don't want to compare tables and then you want to just one, there are templates that you can pick from and then use it. So the layout provides with a placeholder that you can use to edit text headings, text itself, bullet list, number list, tables, chart, pictures, and videos. So this means that with our PPT or with our presentation software, I can include in all of these things into my work. You can include pictures, videos, chart, tables, lists. All of this can be done in your PowerPoint presentation. So usually the software gives you a layout, which we are referring to as a template. And then depending on what you are doing, you may have options to be able to get all these things done. So if you launch your PowerPoint presentation, this is what you usually have. So this place is the title placeholder where you put the title of your presentation, and then these are the slides presentation. So these ones are the various slides in the presentations. So when we look at the practicals, then you look at what we are saying. So you could see that over here, the person just put in a text. Then here you can put in a text and also put in graphics. So this place, the person put in a picture. So you can also have a bulleted list. So once you have your presentation software to you, anything that you want to do is your own imagination. You can use it to create any type of presentation that you want to create. So our presentation software also include pre-made designs. So those pre-made designs, we refer to them as themes that you can use. I know for some schools, they have a pre-designed themes that they use for their presentation. For example, KNUST, they have their own theme. If you are going to do any presentation concerning KNUST, then there's a pre-designed theme that you are going to use throughout. The same also applies to GCTU. So every institution that you happen to be, you can create your own theme. But if you don't want to use any of these, then you can use the one that comes with the software, which we are referring to as the pre-designs, and they are known as themes. So these themes have it's just a coordination of colors, font, background, and then effect. Some IT guys in some institutions have a fine theme that henceforth any presentation that will be used from this institution should follow, include transition. So transition is how you move from one slide to another. So some of these transitions are fate. So you could see that usually when they are doing this, they are coming to show movies, you could see that the names of the cast that comes. Some will come and then it will crack like a glass, and then some designs or some effect will come, and then the next transitions. So you can also create your own custom design transition as to how do I move from one slide to another slide. Then you can also add. Some people can do the text in such that they will move from the left hand side and then any of the text. So those types of things is what we refer to as anime text. So your shapes, object, and other things, you can do these animation things to them through your presentation software. Any question? Any question? All right. So we look at the spreadsheet. So the spreadsheet is what mostly we refer to as the Excel. So Microsoft Excel is an example of the spreadsheet. So this spreadsheet is just arrangement of text and numbers. And usually this is done in rectangular grid, or what we refer to as a table. So we can use the spreadsheet to organize our data such that we can do calculations on them, we can analyze them, interpret them, and then present it. So when you are using your Excel, you can use it for all of this. So some people use the Excel to be able to track their monthly expenditure. And then if you want to present or analyze this in some way, so we have something called if-else analysis that you can apply to some of this, your Excel document. Some of these things are practical. So next 2 weeks, if I come to Accra, we'll look at some of the important ones that I think can help you in your day-to-day activities, and then we'll look at them. So sometimes, as an HR person, you need to present a bar chart, or you need to present a document in a pictorial form. So you are going to use spreadsheet to be able to do all of these things so that you can explain it to your board or to the CEO or any people that is higher than you. So Excel called these things, this grid. So all those grid of things that we have. So Excel called them worksheet or a sheet for example. So when you open it, the first thing that comes, we refer to it as a worksheet. Then within each individual worksheet, we have the sheets that are within it. So when we look at the Excel worksheet, this is what we are actually referring to. So when you open it, so this is what you normally see. So we have our Excels. So this is the grid, so columns and rows. Hey, keep quiet. We have our rows and then our columns. So you can see the rows and columns here where they intersect, we refer to it as a cell. And then if you look at it, you can see that the columns, these are the columns, and then these are the rows. The rows are numbered 1, 2, 3, and then the columns are numbered A, B, C, D in that order. So this one here is known as the sheet. So together we can call the whole of this thing a worksheet, or simply we can refer to it as a sheet. So when you start your Excel, you create a file. So when you are starting your Excel, you create a big file that we refer to as a workbook. So you create the workbook. So within this workbook, there you can have different sheets or different worksheets within them. So your columns in the worksheet are identified by letters, as we said, and the rows are identified by columns. So the intersection of the rows and columns give us what is known as Excel. So Excel has a name, and then we call the cell reference, or if you want to refer to a particular cell, we call it cell reference or the cell address. And usually this is represented by the column letter followed by the row name. So if you, for example, if you watch this one critically, the name or the cell reference is what is shown here. So you use the column and then the row. So this one will be known as A1. And then this one will be known as B1. This will be C1. Then if you come down here, it will be A2, B2, C2 in that order. So that is how you name your cells. So the cell that is active, that is receiving document now, is what you refer to as the active cell. So if you watch here, you can see that all of these things are cells, but the active cells we have are the one, because this is the one that is ready to receive data. Then, as we said, there are some features that comes with the Excel. So there's a formula that you can use. So this formula is just a mathematical expression. So those accounting guys, they have a particular formula that they can use in calculating their formulas. So there are some that are predefined, so you don't need to define them. You can also create your own formula. So when we come to the practical, I'll show you some of the few ones or how to do some calculations using the calculation features of the Excel. Then one feature of the Excel tool is known as hot if analysis. So you can use the hot if analysis to be able to explore how changing numbers and other inputs can affect some of the calculated results. So usually this hot if analysis is used in some calculation, especially those in the finance sector. They use hot if analysis feature of the calculations. So besides entering the formulas, we can also have functions. So these functions are predefined formulas that can perform some calculations on our document. Then we can also have the charting features. So you can use the spreadsheet to create charts that can show relationship between data. So sometimes you have your data and then you want to show it pictorially. You can use the charting feature to show all these things to your audience. Then the next one is known as a database. So a database is just a collection of data that is organized into tables. So if you look at it, it's just like the Excel, but the database is more organized way of managing your data. So you can use the database software to organize, update, retrieve, and then produce report in an electronic database. So all the information that you'll be storing into your tables will be composed of rows and columns. Then each column in the table is known as a field, which is a single characteristic of a person. So for example, if we take a person has a name, has a height, has an age, has a date of birth. So those individual characteristics that we are interested in from a person is known as a field. Then a row in a database represents a record. A row represents a record. Then each record is a group of related fields. This is looking more technical. I don't know whether, yes, this is what I want. So now you could see that this is our database, and our database is made up of rows and columns. So we are saying that these are the columns. So the individual columns here represent characteristics that we are interested in from a particular person or a thing. So those ones are known as the fields. So the movie ID, the title, movie type, length, director, star, year release. Those are the fields of the elements that we are interested in about the movie. Then you could see that the rows here, the rows, that's the horizontal ones, they represent what is known as a record. So we say the rows are a record. And then the columns are the individual fields that we have. So there's one thing that we have, which is known as a primary key. So primary key are used to uniquely identify a record in a table. So now you could see that when you guys were doing registration, you entered your student ID, you entered your name, the program you are reading, and then the courses that you are registering for, even the fee that you paid. So those things that I've just mentioned are known as the field. So among all these fields, there's one thing that is unique to you, and that one is your student ID. So you could see that in the student table, we'll have the student ID serving as the primary key, because that is what we are going to use to uniquely identify you. You cannot use name because you will not be the only person called Francis in this world. If you go to the national database and then you enter my name, you'll see that a lot of people will come with that same name, with that same date of birth. So you can use name, date of birth as a primary key. You use the one that is unique to only you. In this case, your student ID, your phone number, then your SNIT number, the Ghana card number. So those ones are examples of primary key because they will be used to uniquely identify you. Why are we defining primary key? We are defining primary key so that there will be no duplication of data in our system. If I go into the school system now that I want to pay my fees, the system will ask me for my student number. Once I enter my student number, I have finished paying my fees. If somebody comes and then use my same student number, the system will say that you are not owing fees. So we use primary key to prevent this duplication of data or records in our system. So database software, they work with related tables. So examples of the database software is the Microsoft Access. So the Microsoft Access is an example of a relational database software. So we have different types of database software. We have some that are object-oriented, some are relational, some are hierarchical. But over here, we don't want to go into those technical details. Those ones are for the computer science. So just know that the text that we are using is an example of a database software, and it is an example of a relational database. So this is what we are just talking about database. So database is just intersection of rows and columns that we are going to use to manage, update, and populate our database. So what are some of the features of the database? It can give us an opportunity to be able to do data entry. So you can enter records in the table. So when we come to the practical, you could see that we can create an input form that you can use to input data into the system, and then you can retrieve data. So when you are retrieving data, we refer to it as querying the database. So right now, if I go into the school and then I want to see whether Abraham is owing, I'll just say, what's your index number? He'll give me his index number. Then I need to query the system. I need to input it into the system. So me trying to tell the system that, okay, give me a student whose ID is so and so, or whose name is Abraham. That form, or what I'm trying to do is that I'm creating a query into the system. I'm querying the system to be able to receive or to retrieve a specific data that will meet that requirement that I have set for the system. So as I said from the onset, there are some people who use database. So if you want to look at the advantage and disadvantage of it, you could see that if you are using spreadsheet, the only advantage is that they are best with numerical data. So they can help you to make your calculations quickly. But if you look at databases, you can also use database to do all those things, but you need to write a series of codes. So in this case, you need to resort to a computer scientist who will help you to be able to query the system and do those calculations for you. Then a spreadsheet enables users to enter data and see results quickly, which the other one, it also offers you to be able to enter your data, but it enter data once instead of twice. Because over here in the database, you are making use of a primary key. So there's no way that you can enter ID for me and then use that same ID for another person, the system will not be able to allow you to do that. And then Excel are easier to learn as compared to our database. A database is not so easy to learn because there are some language that you have to learn, which you are referring to as the SQL, structured query language. That is the language for the database. So learning all these things makes it a very little bit difficult for people to use. So these are the advantage and disadvantage of the spreadsheet and database. So you look at it, and then depending on the need of your organization, you decide which one of them to use to manage your data. So now let's look at this. So this, I think this will be a spreadsheet or can be an extract of our database. But if you look at it here, you see the owner. So in this case, is the same person that is coming. So if you look at this side up to this one, there's duplication of data. And in database, or try as much as possible to eliminate that redundancy. If you keep on storing the same thing over and over, it's going to occupy space. So instead of doing it this way, we are going to break the table down into two. So this one will have owner ID, first name, last name, address, and phone. Then we stop there. Then we are breaking this one. So this one will now come here, pet ID, pet name, pet type. And now we are going to relate that to the user. So in this case, we have a user ID here. You can see that the user ID is appearing over here. So this user ID here in the second table here will be a foreign key here, but over here it is a primary key. The primary key here is the pet ID. And so if I want to link the two tables together, because if I take a pet, I want to know who does that pet belong to. So I have to relate it with the owner ID here. So in this system here, I have owner ID 1. Then you can see that in the second column, the same person has a cat and a dog. So instead of entering Franklin there, the same address, the same number, I've just done only once by just repeating just the index number, the owner ID here. Doing it that way helps you to be able to manage your data in a very efficient way. So as I said, we'll look at all these things practically when I come to Accra. Then we have the entertainment software. So usually these are software that helps you to be able to manage your entertainment. For example, helps you to download and then listen to music, radios, and watch movies and television shows. Now, some people don't even have TV again. There is some particular projector that even has a smart projector. So all that you need is to have access to internet. You project your projector to the wall, you connect to YouTube, and then you are watching your movie. So all these things are examples of entertainment software. So most of these entertainment software provide you access to one of the digital media. So some people are on YouTube, some people are on TikTok, some people are on Snapchat, Facebook, and the rest. So depending on which one of them that you want, you can just log on to it and then have your entertainment. So it is entertainment software that help us able to do that. So some of them can help you have music and video applications. So for example, the Windows Media Player and then the iTunes, they have a collection of digital music that you can have. In those days, we used to have them offline, but now everything now is online. You don't even need to have them on a CD. In those days, we distribute these on CDs. The CDs give way to flash drives. Now we don't even have those flash drives. All that we need to have is to have access to the internet, and then you are able to stream your music. You're able to stream your video, and then you can also use those online entertainment software to be able to create your own profile. So the type of music that you want, you can use these media players or this entertainment software just to create your music, and then wherever you are, you just log in, enter your login credentials, and then you have your music play on the go. Also, radio. Now, a lot of people don't even listen to local radios again. They listen to online radios. And with this online radio, you can be here and be listening to radio station far away, US, UK, China, and the rest. So some of these online ones give you. So I'm sure most of you know this Spotify. That's what some people use to listen to their radios or even their music. iRadio also work like an online radio station. So you can use these ones and then enjoy your music everywhere that you are. Then the games, the games are also there. So there are some software that helps you to be able to play games. So FIFA, is it FIFA? I don't play those games, so I don't know the name, but I know they have is it FIFA 2004, those stuff that people used to play. And then if they are playing, if you are outside and you listen to the soundtrack, if you are not careful, you might think that it is a live game that they are playing. But all of these things are just game software that helps you to do that. The popular one we all know is the solitaire or the scrambles that you can use on your computer system to play. Even pool, there are some the pool, those who play the snooker games, you could see that most of these things are online that now you can play. In those days, some of these things once you log in, you play without any interruption. But now, because almost every developer want to commercialize their software, they either ask you to pay and then you don't have this advert doing on them. So if you are going in for the free one, you play something like 2 seconds and then they flood your screen with a lot of advertisement. So if you don't want that one, then you just have to go in for the paid version and then you have this your gaming software brought to your doorstep. Then media editing. So as I said from the beginning, now because of technology, somebody can track your voice and then use it to do other stuff. So sometimes you could see that some scammers, when they called you, all that they want to do is to harvest your voice. So if they know you, they'll call you, immediately say hello, and they speak to you for about some 5 seconds or 10 seconds. They'll harvest your voice and then use this media editing software, and then they can use your voice and then do any other things with them. So most of us have been saying these things. You take the president's image, you put it on somebody's body, and then the person is speaking, and you think that it is President Mahama that is talking. All that they've done to it is using this media editing software to be able to play with it. And then I think now there are some software that are online now that most people are using. So they'll use it and then use their images, their own image, and then some editing to it, and then you see them put them online. All of these things are possible as a result of the media editing software that we have. So graphics. So there are some three major types of graphic software. You have the paint, photo editing, and then drawing software. So the paint provides you tool for painting the screen. So that one you can use it to manipulate pixels by filling them with colors. So usually these are used by graphic designers that want to be able to play, or let's say those artists. So if you are that kind, then you can use some of this painting software to be able to create those your images. So this is how the graphic software is. So some of them have a basic photo editing features. So you can use it to adjust the brightness of your image. You can use the crop or cut some part of your image off. So there's a 3D graphics. So this 3D graphics use mathematics to represent a 3D object. So this 3D object allows you to rotate and view them from many angles. And because of these 3D things, most e-commerce sites are now using it. For example, you go to some e-commerce site, you are buying a dress, you can wear the dress and then see how it will look like on you. So what some e-commerce site does is that when they are advertising for for a product, they create a 3D version of it. So you look at all angles and see how the dress will look on you or how the shoe will look on you if you wear it. So that's what most graphic designers are doing now, creating a 3D graphic of whatever they are having. Then we have the CAD, which is the computer-aided design software used by professional designers to create models of product, building, and other things. So usually the CADs are used for these engineering and then technical things. So you can use it just to create a blueprint of whatever architectural drawing that you want to. So an example is the AutoCAD. Mostly is used by those in the building and then engineering students. So they use this one just to create a model of whatever they are trying to do. So music. So when the musician produce their song, they also need to edit it. So there is a music editing software. So an example is the Apple GarageBand, music, and Final are all there to help you record and edit your own music. The same thing also happened to the video editing tools. So we have the Camtasia, we can use the Apple iMovie, and then the movie maker. All this you can use it to create or edit your music. The first time that COVID came and then we moved online, I was using Camtasia Studio to do my recording and then post to students. So after this, I can clip or I can cut some of the off using the Camtasia Studio. So video software. So this is how the video editing software looks like. So if you don't want a particular part, you can just crop those ones out. So once you do it, you play it here and then you preview how everything will look like. Any question? All right, so we look at the software tools. So apart from the application software, there are other tools or software programs that we call utility programs. So these utility programs are just there to help us maintain your files, your software, and then the hardware. So the first one is known as the file utilities. So this file utility includes software that helps you to manage your files, convert files from one format to another. So sometimes you could see that I have PDF. You want to convert your PDF into Word document. So those features that you can use are the file document. Then you have the disk management utilities. They help you to be able to manage your storage disks. If you have unnecessary data that you want to remove, you can use the disk management utilities to do them. And then we have the software utilities. They are tools or software tools that you can use for updating your system, your virus, and other malware scanners, and then you can use it to monitor how your system behaves. So one of them is the file compression software. Sometimes you record your video and then you realize that your video is too big. So once it's too big, what it does is that you help it to remove those redundant data. So when I compress my file, I'm just trying to remove some redundant data from it. For example, how characters are stored. We have the character A. A will be stored as 100000001. So you could see that all those 000 are repetition. So all those things will going to occupy a space. So there is a compression algorithm that will be used that will remove all those repetitive data from the system. Then when you decompress it, there will be another one that will try to compress it nicely for you. So those type of software, we refer to them as the file compression software. So there are different types of compression. We have one known as the lossless compression. The lossless compression because the original file is reconstructed without losing any data. So if you are compressing the algorithm that you are using, if it is a lossless compression algorithm, then that means that how the data was before I compress it, when I decompress it to, I will still have my original data intact. So that type of compression algorithm is what we refer to as the lossless compression. Then we have the lossy compression. So with the lossy compression for graphics or music, those ones uses the lossy compression because it removes data identified as unnecessary. If you look at some graphics or music, if you produce a music and some parts are not too good, you can use the lossy compression just to remove those unnecessary data from it. And once you remove those unnecessary data, you're not going to get the original one back. That's how come graphics and music, we use the lossy compression algorithm for it. But for text, you can use the lossless compression algorithm to remove those unnecessary data from it. Then how do you manage your data? So as you keep on storing, creating your document, you'll be dumping all those things on your hard disk. So there should be a utility that you can use to be able to manage your disk. So there are three types of disk management utilities. The first one is known as the disk cleaner. Then we have the disk scanner, and then we have the defragmenter. So these are the three disk management utilities that you can use to be able to manage your storage space. So the disk cleaner, what that one does is that it identifies a file you can safely delete to free up space on your system. Then the disk scanner scans for disk error, such as parts that are corrupted, and then repairs them. So if you look at this, when you check this, you could see that we have the free space. So these ones are the free space, and then the blue one is representing your use space. So if you use the disk scanner and then you run it, all that one does is that, okay, which are some of the files that are duplicate that I can delete? Then it will help you to locate those files, and then it will ask you whether you want to delete those duplicated data. Hello. Mele class, Roman Roman. Hmm? Ebe? I'm in class. Timati, I'll come right now. I'm in class. Nunca lewa. I'm in class. Nemovo. Hey, keep quiet. I'm in class. I'll finish right now. Hmm?
Hello,
The class, Roman.
Tima, Timati, Timati.
So you use the disk scanner to scan for this error. So sometimes you could see that there are some corrupted files that need to be corrected. So you use the disk scanner to scan it and check for all those types of error. So if you look on your file, not a file, if you open your hard disk, this is how everything looks like. So we said that you have the data stored in tracks and sectors. So these ones, the round ones are the tracks. And then the one that looks like a V are known as a sector. So this one sector. So you could see over here, a data is stored here, a data is stored here, another data is stored here. Ideally, that is not how data is supposed to be stored. So we say that it is fragmented. So once you scan and then the system realizes that it is a fragmented data, you run the defrag. This defragmenter, all that it does is to reorganize everything such that everything will be in this continuous format. So this is how your data is supposed to be stored from one sector to another in that contiguous manner so that you can store your data properly. We have some vulnerabilities that sometimes attack our computers. So anything that poses as a threat to our computer, we refer to them as a vulnerability, or we say our computer is vulnerable to them. So there's a malware and then anti-software virus software. Usually these software are just done so that we can mitigate against some of these vulnerabilities that our system is being exposed to. So when we talk of malware are just malicious software. So usually they include computer viruses, worms, Trojan horse, and bots, and spy. Usually there are some viruses, all that they do is to attack the sector. So this is what we refer to as a sector. So there are some viruses, all that they do is to come and occupy this place. Once they occupy this place, you may not have enough space to store your data again. So if you have such a system, all that you need to do is to have a malware, and this malware will go and then remove all of these viruses, worms, and Trojan horses from your system. So a virus, they copy themselves and trigger code that can infect other computers and damage them. There are some viruses that usually are programmed in such a way that they get fired on a specific date. I think there's a name, is it Michelangelo? It was one virus that was created by Michelangelo. And then what he wanted the software to do is that it get fired on his birthday. So on his birthday, anybody that connected to the internet at that time got infected with that particular virus called the Angelo virus. So virus, they attach themselves and then replicate. So they reproduce themselves in the computer system. They just occupy space. They don't do anything. So I call those one merciful viruses. There are some viruses that attack your system, and then all that they do is to go and attack executable files. So if you have a virus that is attacking executable files, then that means that you cannot run that particular file again. You install Word, and then you realize that you have a virus, and that virus attack the word processor, the executable file. You could see that you can start that word processor again. So those ones are dangerous viruses. And then once you have those viruses, you need to treat them. So viruses are usually transmitted through an email attachment. So sometimes if you received unsolicited emails from some people you don't know, you don't trust, you don't need to even open them or even to download them. So once you download and then you open it, your file or your computer system will be infected. Then we have a worm. Worms are just harmful computer code that spread without your interactions. So there's some malicious software that requires you to do something before they attack you. An example is the virus. But the worms, they don't require your interaction. So they can just infect your PC without even your knowledge. So worm slips from one network to another. So sometimes if you don't have this anti-malware or antivirus installed on your system and you go to some internet cafes or some online sites, you'll be affected with some of these worms. We have another one known as a Trojan, or some people refer to it as a Trojan horse. Usually, what this Trojan does is that they just create a security loopholes in your system. They don't do anything. They just create a loophole in your system and then allowing worms and other viruses to be able to attack you. So that's how the Trojan works. So if somebody said you are a Trojan in his life, all that person is trying to say is that you are more or less like you take his vulnerability and then you give it to the enemy. So the enemy will know that, okay, this person, this is how vulnerable it is, and then the person will come and then attack you. So that is how our Trojan horses or the Trojan works. Then attackers who access your system through a Trojan might install a bot, something they call robot, which is a small program that runs a repetitive task. So what some people do is that they'll write a small code And then once you get infected with it, then they can be somewhere and then be controlling you. So such a software or such a small something that they installed on your system is not a robot, and then it can be somewhere and then controlling you. This usually happens if you received unsolicited emails from people that you don't know, and then you just download. Once you download, this bot will be installed on your system. So whatever thing you are doing, the person will be controlling your system behind you. So sometimes you could see that you on your system, and then before you realize your system will shut down by itself, or your system will open another application on itself. When you have that, then you know that you have a bot, meaning that your computer system is being used as a robot. And then the system will be using it, or somebody will be somewhere controlling your system without your knowledge. So both can control your computer to perform illegal activities, such as sending massive amount of spams and then other emails that are not so much important. You have a spyware. Spyware, they install itself or run on your computer without your consent or your control. So all that the spyware does is that they want to collect some information from you. What are some of the information that they would like to collect? Your passwords, your login credentials, your credit card details, your passwords. So if you have this spyware installed, any activity that you do, any keystroke that you make on your computer system, it will pick it and then send it to whoever install that spyware on your computer system. So a special type of spyware is called adware that changes your browser setting to open pop-up ads. So I told you that it's not every pop-up ad that you need to be accepted. So what some of this adware does is that, or some of these spyware does is that they know that they can get infected through your system through some of these adverts. So once they get attached to your system, without your knowledge, they go and then open those particular pop-ups, and then they accept everything. And then before you realize, they keep on sending you unnecessary images or unnecessary unsolicited emails. And worst of all is they'll steal your credit card details, and then before you realize, they'll use it to do anything that they want to use it for. So to defend against all of these things, you need to install antivirus on your computer system. Not just installing antivirus, but you must keep this antivirus up to date so that it can be able to mitigate against all of these vulnerabilities that we have talked about. So if you look at the malwares and then their antivirus, these are some of them that we have: Norton, McAfee, Windows Defender. So they are popularly used on Windows systems. Then those of you who use Mac OS, you have the Sophos antivirus, Avast, and then Xprotect. So the Android use Kaspersky and then Lookout Security. So these are the most popular software or antivirus software that you can have, and that will be able to use to protect your computer system. Any question? All right. So if no question, then I think we'll stop here, and
Yes.
then I'll see you guys tomorrow. Sorry, next week. And
Hello,
then
sir.
yeah.
Yeah, so I want to ask something. I don't know if it is still in line with what we're studying, or so concerning data analysis. As an HR person, is it something that you would advise us that we learn in addition to what we're doing?
Oh yes, it's recommended.
Okay.
If you are HR person and you know how to do data analysis, it's a plus to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So next week we have an online class, and then next 2 weeks we have face-to-face. I think that's our last meeting, right?
Yes, please.
So please, on the day that we'll do face-to-face, I would like us to do some practicals. So I'm hoping to come to Accra because we need to meet once before you write your exams.
Yes, sir.
So it's not just a matter of passing by. We need some simple skills. So
Yes, sir.
that will be, when is that? The face-to-face. 9th
On
May.
on the
That's
9th.
next 2 weeks. Yes. 9th May, I'll come to Accra. So if I come, I'll place all of you, bring your laptops. Bring your
Okay.
laptops and make sure you install Microsoft Office Suite on your laptops so that we can
Okay.
do some small practicals with it.
All right.
I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Okay. Thank you.